Hello and welcome to Always Bored, Never Boring. This weekend, Games Workshop announced that pre-orders for Warhammer Quest Darkwater would be going live on Saturday the 29th of November 2025. I made a community post about it and I wasn't planning on doing a follow-up video. But since then, Games Workshop have shared a designer commentary on their community website which reveals some more cards and hints at additional rules. I felt there was just enough information there for another video, and to be honest, I need to work, because I'm supposed to buy this game, and it seems the prices that have been floating around for a few days now are correct, and they are eye-watering. Although we still haven't had an official announcement, I got this information from the Glass Half Dead YouTube channel, and it tallies with what everyone else has been saying. I will throw a link to the Glass Half Dead channel in the description below for you. And yeah. Prices appear to be £160 in the UK, $255 in the US, or €206. That is frankly silly. I can imagine a lot of people watching this video are going to shut off at this point, call it a done deal, and spend their money on one of the many other dungeon crawlers available. I can't blame them. But if you are still here, I wanted to quickly go through the designer commentary that Games Workshop have shared. It's funny because I was planning to do a discussion video at some point comparing the use of map books to map tiles, looking at the pros and cons of each. And that is pretty much what Games Workshop have done here as they defend the position of transitioning from tiles to a book. Some of the views I agree with, some not so much. The first argument is swift setup. They specifically mention the book is a way of countering your players getting out their phones and doom scrolling. And I do find it a bit sad that designers have to design around the idea that people have such short attention spans they will immediately grab a phone if they don't get a new stimulus every 3 seconds. I don't really think it's a fair assessment of gamers anyway. My game group will always help with setup, shuffling cards and finding tiles, or they will discuss the game and their next objectives. I have never looked up from a rules book to see the faces of all my friends illuminated by their phone screens. And honestly, there are other ways around long setup times. You can, for example, get a game of Hero Quest going in minutes, and if designers are worried about setup, they can use procedural generation for their maps like in classic Warhammer Quest. That said, skirmishes in Darkwater may only last for 5 turns, and they can be finished up in around 30 minutes. And in a campaign, you are going to frequently hop from one skirmish to the next, so keeping setup to a minimum does make a lot of sense here. For me, a better reason to use the map book is to give us themed maps with great artwork tailored to specific scenarios. This gives more of a sense of place than recycling the same map tiles over and over again, and allows for more intricate scenarios that play out like puzzles. Games Workshop have shared a few more map designs in this article, and they all look beautiful, and they incorporate different timer lengths and other features that make each experience unique. The map book is also a way of making it possible to play a dungeon crawl on a smaller table. There's no chance of a procedurally generated map stretching off the table edge, and you don't need to get out your 6x4 wargaming board to build massive environments. Sadly, it does make Darkwater of less use as a toolbox. It's not going to be easy to create custom missions, and you have less material that you can port into other game systems and role-playing games. Another big change is swapping activation dice for ability cards. I will miss activation dice. The new system seems fine, but I think the system of activation dice combined with destiny dice provided a much richer playground for decision making and action management. Games Workshop claim this change was to make the game more accessible, as rules are written on the cards and it's easier to track what you are doing. I don't know, Games Workshop. Setting the price at less than £160 is probably a better way of making a game more accessible, but what do I know? I do approve of the idea of a campaign that you can complete in around 14 hours, which is further divided into 3 self-contained acts that are more manageable. Most gamers have a lot of games that they want to get to the table, and it isn't always easy to work through a mammoth campaign. A quicker jaunt that you can feasibly get through in 3 play sessions and then replay thanks to the variability of the system sounds pretty good to me. In fact, I don't think I would really say any of the changes are bad. They're just changes I didn't expect, and probably didn't feel were required. Perhaps this game shouldn't have been called Warhammer Quest. Maybe if Games Workshop want to move away from all the traits associated with that brand, they should come up with a new name. I think my biggest question right now is, will the efforts to streamline the system and make it more accessible pay off? Or will all that effort be wasted because the price has been set too high to attract new fans, while original fans are turned off by the design choices? I mean, we know this box is going to sell well. There will be plenty of people only buying for the miniatures. But will it thrive as a game system? I don't know, but what I do know is that scattered throughout this article are a few more tasty morsels we can digest while we wait for the pre-orders to go live. In this article, Games Workshop specifically state that as you play you will unlock rewards and new heroes for future playthroughs. This suggests that once you have gone through the story once, you will be able to begin future playthroughs with the extra heroes. This will make me happy because I like the Jade Wizard, who isn't part of the starting lineup. Another character you can unlock is Drasher Vorn, whose character card has now been revealed. He has D6 move, saves on a 4+, and has 12 health. He has an attack profile that should be familiar to all of us by now. Range 1, roll 2 dice, hit on 3+. His ability involves a build up to a payoff. The wording isn't great here, but the card says, for each 1 damage inflicted on this hero, and each time an enemy is slain in their turn, this hero gains a Fury token. Once Drasher has 10 Fury tokens, he can spend them, which appears to be a free action. He then immediately takes a combination of actions, which is also badly worded. The card says he can use 4 move and or attack abilities for 0 energy. We don't get to see his Ebon Claw item here, but we already know he can use it to injure himself to gain Fury tokens, so I bet the rules for it are exactly that. Expend the Ebon Claw to take 1 damage. And speaking of items, we get to spy 3 reward cards. One is the Sip of Aqua Garanis, which we saw in a previous reveal. There is also a black powder grenade which you can discard to select a visible target. Each enemy within 1 hex of the selected hex takes 1 damage on the roll of a 5+. Pretty standard stuff. The last item is an epic reward, the first one we have seen. I like this one. You use it to change the result of a d6 and then you roll a dice. If you score lower than the number you changed the dice to, you discard the card. That's a bit of fun, and it introduces some push your luck to the dice mitigation. It should be noted the article says there are hundreds of unique rewards. Not 100 and not hundreds of rewards, but hundreds of unique rewards. So that means there must be over 200 reward cards in total. Some of these rewards will form sets, and when you add all 3 rewards from a set onto the correct hero, they confer additional bonuses. That's not a unique concept, but it is a fun concept. Games Workshop have reiterated that in each playthrough you will only see a small selection of rewards, encounters, boss fights and events. There is also the casual mention of a secret encounter to discover and alternative rules for heroes. These rules probably explain why the starting 4 heroes all have a second character card that we haven't seen yet. So it does seem there will be plenty of incentive for repeat plays, if the game is good enough to support them. And I think that will just about do it for this hastily thrown together video. I tell ya, my carefully created schedule of videos for November has gone right out of the window at this point. Ah well, dissecting these updates has been fun. Do be aware I have gone through the designer commentary rather briefly, so you should pop over to the Warhammer Community page to read the full thing for yourself. The link is in the video description. And remember, pre-orders go live on Saturday morning, the 29th of November 2025. Expect them to pop around 10 AM GMT or 1 PM EST. Also, to confirm what Games Workshop have said previously, Darkwater will be a range product. If it sells out, it will return to shelves, so if you aren't sure about this one, you can wait for reviews, and you don't need to pay even more than the already stupid prices to shop from scalpers. And that is it from me for now. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please consider pressing the like button. If you really like this video, please consider subscribing if you don't already do so. And hopefully, I will see you all again very soon. Bye bye everyone. Bye bye.